Hello, everyone. So it's been some moments since my last newsletter where, for any of you willing, daring participants, got to travel on Go Meet the Goddess Bridget. So if you didn't open that one, I encourage you to do so because I know for me and for some others that have responded, it was really beneficial. So I thought I'd just do a little check in and share a bit about what I saw and how it related to my life from that journey. And maybe it could influence you to look a little deeper into what you found as well. So please share what you might have seen with me in a private message if you feel inclined. And if you give me a few more details, I can see if there's any symbolism that I can glean from that. So for me, one of the symbols, so the symbol that I saw when I went to the well that kind of surfaced after declaring my dedications and her doing her little invocational chant to the waters, was a symbol of a boat. So I actually made it later in a ritual. So I kind of made this little clay boat. It's kind of cracking. Hope that doesn't mean too much. And so the symbol I saw was this boat, and it came and surfaced. And I'm like, okay, so there's something about a boat. There's something about this vessel. About maybe I need to focus on creating a vessel. And I started getting into, okay, it's a sailboat. So what do the sails mean? Like, okay, sails collect wind. They use the elements to propel themselves. It kind of symbolizes being able to navigate, for me, like the waters, like the sea or deep waters, are like the depths of the emotions, or also the subconscious realm. And what was most interesting, there's two things that happened. One thing that happened in my waking life, one thing that happened after that, was when I went to go offer Bridget an offering from my bundle. I went in there, and what I pulled out was a canoe. And so I offered her this like little canoe symbol. And when she held it, I had this very clear transmission of how my life was transitioning from kind of living like symbolically like I am living in a canoe life to living in a sailboat. And so what that means for me is I thought of how the canoe, as like agile and capable of a vessel it is, it also requires a lot of energy. So there's a lot of rowing and momentum that's really needed by your body alone, which I think has been maybe a story or a way of navigating a lot of life for me for many years, is feeling this, like, maybe it's the Aries in me, which is like, okay, I gotta do this and go and go and paddle and paddle and paddle, and feeling like I am getting somewhere, but I'm not quite like getting the headway that I would think I have with the amount of energy and attention and dedication I'm putting towards it. And so what I got and gleaned from that is sometimes in life it can feel like, why am I not getting anywhere? I'm putting so much work into this. I'm like studying or taking actions or like putting resources towards something. And what the message came for me was, but is the vessel that I am, is my systems maybe, or the structure that I have to kind of let life also move, even like support me even more there. And so for me, this sailboat was very symbolic of that. Is, okay, in order to integrate and move forward without it feeling like it's such like a dance of will and determination for me, it's like I need to figure out what systems in place do I need to put in place. So those can be social systems, like creating systems of support for people around me to actually be able to help me. Those could be maybe structures in my business that make things more effortless, or starting to explore what that means. So anyways, that was a bit of what I gleaned from that experience. And so later that night, my husband was gone, and he came back quite late, like around like 11, and he was driving my van, and I hadn't told him about the journey or the ritual that I did. And so he was driving my van, and first I psychically had a feeling. I was like, I don't want you to drive up this hill. I feel like it's going, like, I don't want you getting in the mud. I just had this image. I'm like, it's like it was a rainy night, and I was like, please, maybe just park at the bottom of the hill. And he's like, it's okay. I'll like just watch what's happening, and you can trust me, my discernment. So he ended up not following my guidance. He might not appreciate that I'm telling you this. And sliding a bit off the hill and smashing my van. So anyways, it seemed pretty, like, the story was, it seemed like it was maybe cosmetic. He started driving home, and then halfway to home, for any that are on Salt Spring, I live in the north end, so around St. Mary's Lake, my van just started, like, the lights just started going flashing, and then in the whole van, like, all the lights just went out and the battery stopped, and it was just flatlined. So so we ended up having to, like, walk most of the way home. A bus, thankfully, which is very rare, like, magical bus drove by, and he had a great time finding his way home. That being said, left my van there. So why I'm bringing this up is, for any of you that like to hyperanalyze your symbolic messages in life, this is hopefully going to inspire you, was that for me, my van is my vessel. It is my boat. It is my ship that actually physically brings me and my family to the things that I need to do. And so here I am after this ritual, having my vessel actually stop working. And so we brought it to the shop, and it turned out actually it was kind of a goddess sent, because what had actually happened wasn't even about getting him sliding off the hill. That just was like an impetus to go to the shop. But that the alternator had died. Like, it just was like too old. It's just a routine maintenance thing with vehicles. So for any of you that know about cars, I don't know much about it, but I do know that the alternators are the part of the car that takes the energy that's created by the engine and kind of stores it and helps it, like, charges the battery, right? So it's using momentum to charge the battery. So how similar is that to the experience I had earlier that day of, okay, like, I'm needing to connect with changing something up that's going to take the life force, take the wind, take the energy that's coming my way, and, like, cultivate it in those big sails so that I can move forward in life. And so it was interesting that the actual part of my vehicle that represents that quality ended up needing to get replaced and changed. Maybe that's not interesting to you, but to me it was very interesting. And so I just wanted to share that with you, to also, like, add a little piece for any of you that know, like, I like to see messages everywhere, because I find that not only does that help me integrate my surroundings and where I'm at situated in life, but it really lets me make the most of the guidance that's coming my way. So for me, our vehicles also reflect aspects of ourselves. So whoever owns a vehicle, sometimes even people when they're driving vehicles, like, it's like, if you think of a vehicle, you kind of energetically become this car, right? The first time I ever learned how to drive, I was, like, driving, and I freaked out because I'm so sensitive that all of a sudden I started feeling myself turning into this metal beast. And I was like, I'm not ready, like, this is too much. Like, it's like a merging, kind of like an avatar, where you, like, merge your psyche into the hardwire and the nervous system of these big avatar beings. I don't do that anymore. I learned how to create a boundary there. But to see that, like, our cars can also show us. So is your car having an issue? Is there, like, the left side of your car is always seeming to be broken, or your mirrors or your headlights? And so how can you play with, is there a message there? Is there correlation with something that's in your life that your car is reflecting to you? If you want to play that game, that might be just way over the top for you. But anyways, I just wanted to share that. I wanted to invite any of you that did do the journey. And if you haven't, please go back to your junk mail, if I'm in the junk mail. Accept my email, because I swear I do my best to give you good content here. And tell me about what came up. So until then, have a beautiful day. Ciao.